evening, my fellow patriots. Are y'all ready to get a show started tonight or what? Good evening, my fellow patriots. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for tuning in to the Melanated Rebel News Network, broadcasting to you live out of the beautiful and historic city of Charleston, South Carolina. I'm your host with the most, Ricky Manor, for the Melanated Rebel News Network. What's going on, Allison Cole? What's going on, Frank Johnson, Corey English, Cooter Rebel, Otto von Bismarck, Skelett? What's up, Longtime Son? Lisa D, Melissa Foster of MD Foster Creations, Rocket Man, Rocket Matrix, who's been with me from day one. Alina Prim, how's everybody doing this wonderful evening? Thank you guys for tuning in. What's up, Amanda Johnston? I also want to thank my man Jonathan, but I don't want to say your government last name online, for that wonderful cash app that you delivered earlier today. You wasn't even watching the show. I'm sitting up here working, and all of a sudden I hear ka-pling, and there he goes sending me a cash app. I thank you very much for that. People like you keep this show rolling. MD Foster, thank you for what you do, Melissa, of MD Foster Creations. MD Foster Creations put together this wonderful website for you here. The safe space for us patriots at www.themelanatedrebelnewsnetwork.com. I didn't get a chance to put anything on there today because I had some things go on. While I was out cruising Saturday night, I got a nail in my tire. That motherfucker hit the drywall. Well, come to find out, I had to replace 2 rear tires on my vehicle. No big deal. What's going on, Brandon Carpenter? Everything's good, everything's good, everything's always good. So, today, we got us a topic that we got to talk about. Oh, that sucks, but it's okay. I mean, hell, I bought a sports car, so it's going to cost. Yeah, the Camaro. I bought a sports car, so it's going to cost. I bought an American sports car, the car of a patriot, the Chevrolet Camaro. Now, had one owner. Whoever had that car before me, they fucked the tires up. They do the same thing in that car that I do, which is give it hell. That's what you do when you drive a Camaro. Now, with that being said, we got some things that we got to talk about tonight. Last night was a good show. I was pissed off because when I found out they canceled me on TikTok for the 8th time, you mean to tell me you're going to ban me 8 different times on the same motherfucking app? You got women dancing naked on the site, young girls dancing naked, and this is why I don't want to go back to TikTok anymore. This is why I don't want to go back. I don't want to go to a place where kids, and I mean small kids, share the same space as adults. Why are fucking children looking at my shit? I'm not looking at their shit. And I'm saying, like, what the fuck? Why are you looking at my shit? I don't feel right on an app where I know kids have access to my shit. Just saying. It's a bunch of little teeny boppers over there. And then you got to put these little bastards in their place, and then their parents are looking at you like, why did you talk to my kid that way? Do you hear how your kid talk to people on the internet? Did you know your kid was on the internet? You know, it's kind of like when you go to these bars, you know, these karaoke bars, and they say it's kid friendly. But you really don't want to drink any alcohol around somebody else's kid. That's what TikTok reminds me of now. So, no, I can't go back. I can't go back. Now that I know that there's a bunch of kids on there, I can't go back. I don't want to go back now. If they come over here to YouTube, then shit, it is what it is. But this is an app that was designed specifically for kids, if you ask me, so fuck it. Let the liberals do what they do. It's kind of like, you know, we were talking last night. You got this fucking, these teeny boppers, the woke crowd. Then you got the patriots, which the patriots always get a ban. Then you got the pedophiles that they're allowed to stay. So they want the pedophiles and these woke kids. They want the woke kids up there talking all this shit about liberation and Black Lives Matter. And they're being systemically oppressed. while you got the damn perverts cheering them on. Because who else would entertain a child online? Who would do that? Who else would entertain a child online? What the fuck does it look like me talking to somebody else's kid? Just saying. I mean, if I was talking to your kid for long periods of time, what's going on, Jesse Foster? How you doing? If I was talking to kids for long periods of time or talking to your kid for a long period of time, you're going to wonder, what the fuck is wrong, dude? What the fuck is wrong? What are you talking to my kid for? I know that's the way I'd be. Now, let's talk about some shit real quick, though. Because we are in for a show tonight. I got a lot of material to cover, okay? And basically what I want to talk about is that our kids matter. Now, despite what I just said about the little bastards on TikTok, they're still kids. They matter. And to be quite honest with you, we're going to talk about something. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. So we might not get 1,000 words out of this picture, but let's go there. Everybody's seen these pictures before. Everybody's seen these pictures before. Right? We're gonna switch. We're not switching over tonight, but I'm gonna let you know what to do tomorrow afternoon. Come into my site because I'm gonna be talking about some things that I can't talk about here on YouTube. We'll be in the trenches tomorrow. But here's the thing. This picture's worth 1,000 words. So now we're all familiar with these haunting pictures on every Walmart wall of the innocence that stares us back in the face as we walk by. Now some of us stop to see if the faces are familiar. Some of us walk by and just feel thankful that it isn't us that are having to deal with the grief of not knowing if our child is dead, alive, or in severe pain. However, what should have all of us alarmed? More than anything that we've seen over the summer or this past year is the level of tragedy that we are all guilty of in the same way, one way or the other. We only rally for the cause of things that directly affect us and not the things that, that we're not personally affected by. That's just the nature of us. But a lot of us patriots have failed in that aspect, and now the bullshit has hit us at home. In order to be united, this is also going to be a pop quiz because my next statement is going to be on my merch. We must remember one thing. The system fails we the people when we the people fail each other. The kids on these walls may not live in your community, but they are kids of your community. They are America's kids. The kids that are recruited to fight for our military may not be the kids in your community. You may not know them directly, but we have to equally support them because they are America's kids. Now, one thing that there should have been with this amount of kids, now here's the thing. With this amount of kids on the walls that we see, now that's just one wall. There are several walls. There are several Walmarts in your town, and the pictures get bigger on down the line. This should have us in an outrage right now. But see, last summer they had to turn off the ball games and the celebrity gossip to trigger America's recent outrage over the things that we should have been outraged over. I'm not going to take anything away from that. I mean, fuck. We had a summer where we were turned against each other, and we saw an election that was questionable. YouTube terms, questionable. But now, we should know when to turn off the ball games and the celebrity gossip and rally for this cause just the same. Because these aren't just black kids. These aren't just white kids. These aren't just Hispanic kids. But I can tell you one thing that all these kids have in common. They damn sure not rich kids, because we know that if these were rich kids, these kids would be held with a ransom. Not saying that poor people loves their kids any less, but we all know that they wouldn't, poor people don't have the resources to pay a ransom for their child's safe return. So for each child that you see on this wall, counts for one traumatized parent each, one community with a child missing each, one family member missing their family, their loved one, each. One friend missing their friend, each. That's a whole lot of communities when you look at that wall. It may not look that big on that picture. Now, you see some bigger walls in your bigger cities, but the damn liberals got you worried about the kids being separated at the borders from their parents. What about their, their negligence of the children that, are separated from their parents in this country, as this wall shows us? Now, you can't tell me that this isn't an organized effort on the part of the children that are missing. I mean, think about it. Or the people that are taking these kids, especially when there are a lot of us who knows what those snatch and grab vans look like as they troll through the Walmart parking lot. So y'all know what I'm talking about, those Sprinter vans. We know what they look like. We shouldn't let the media dictate which narrative to be pissed off about. This clearly deserves our attention as a threat to our national security when our kids are unprotected. Like I said, and I will say it again, this is a situation of national security when our children are unprotected. Now, I will be uploading a video on this subject in the trenches that you all can watch off of the jurisdiction of YouTube, because I can't say what I really want to say about this on YouTube. But we know how much the left really feels about kids when they show you with their concerns about what's going on at the border. Oh, the kids at the border. What about the kids beyond the border? They aren't raising hell about this wall now, are they? United we stand. Divided we fall. The system in place fails us when we fail each other. But one of the things that we don't call out is the hate speech, even when we see something like this in place. Because right here, this is hateful. It's hateful for us to actually sit back and just not even think about this, to put it out of our minds. That's hateful. This is hateful. This isn't love. Look at this. These kids. We should be out looking for them. We should be trying to figure out what's going on. But we know what's going on, and that's what we're going to talk about in the trenches. We're going to talk about this in the trenches. I want to tell you, we got a lot to talk about in the trenches tomorrow. Now, with that being said, y'all seen my broadcast yesterday. Y'all seen the broadcast yesterday. And what we seen out of that broadcast is how big, fat, stank motherfuckers like this can be out of prison or out of jail with no monitoring, because those pedophile laws protect the rich pedophiles, so broke motherfuckers like him can get around. But you so much as not pay a parking ticket, they're looking for you. You so much as jaywalk and get a ticket for disorderly public conduct and not show up for your court date, they're looking for you. But if you touch a child, you're good to go. How does that work? Somebody make that make sense to me. Somebody make that make sense to me. See, here's the thing. A lot of us, we like to claim the title patriot. We don't want to do what it takes to maintain our freedom. We're not ready to put in the footwork. We're not ready to take the loss that may come with this. Wearing cool patriotic gear, that's awesome. That's awesome. But we'll talk about that too in the trenches, because that's a conversation we need to have. Our nation is under attack. And it's under attack by misinformation. The next thing I'm going to show you, the next story of the night, is going to come out of my hometown in Greenville, South Carolina. You got to drive 3 hours to get there from where I'm at right now. But you're going to see this next video. You're going to be like, what the fuck? This video, and it's awkward that this video was released the weekend before Derek Chauvin was to face his murder trial for George Floyd, right? George Floyd, well, you know how I feel about that, but you can't fake something like what I'm about to show you. This happened in Greenville, South Carolina. Tell me what you see when you see this.
Around Route like 16.
Put your handcuffs around like around your fucking wrist like brass knuckles and punch me in my fucking hand.
Can you give me some assistance at the jail here?
Man, I'll be out here with your people.
Come on.
Get the fuck off me, man. Get the fuck off me, man. You hit me in my fucking eye with your fucking handcuffs like fucking brass knuckles, man. And then you trying to fucking tighten that shit up on me like that, man. All right, I'm out your car. Oh, Lord, yeah, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm on camera. I'm on camera. I'm on camera. Hell no, man. Hell no, hell no. Hell no, hell no, hell no. Hell
Come
no.
on, let's go.
Hell no, you just closed my fucking head up on it. You put my head down there and hit me in my fucking head.
Come on, let's go.
All right. Let's talk about this video real quick. This was off of a body cam that took place. No video? Let's do this again. My bad. The sound's coming. What's up, Steven Carpenter? What's up, Purple Prince?
Yeah, I already fucking tell you fucking time. Then you put your handcuffs around.
Route
like
16.
Put your handcuffs around like around your fucking wrist like brass knuckles and punch me in my fucking hand.
Can you give me some assistance at the jail here?
Man, I'll be out here with your people.
Come on.
Get the fuck off me, man. Get the fuck off me, man. You hit me in my fucking eye with your fucking handcuffs like fucking brass knuckles, man. And then you trying to fucking tighten that shit up on me like that, man. All right, I'm out your car. Oh, Lord, yeah, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm on camera. I'm on camera. I'm on camera. Hell no, man. Hell no, hell no. Hell no, hell no, hell no. Hell
Come
no.
on, let's go.
Hell no, you just closed my fucking head up on it. You put my head down there and hit me in my fucking
Come on,
head.
let's go.
What did y'all see out of this video? I want you to tell me what you saw. Because I'm going to tell you what I saw. Just keep in mind, this video is 2 years old. It just now got press attention last week. This video is 2 years old. It just got a protest in Greenville, South Carolina last week. Now, I'm going to show you something that you're going to be like, what? Now, this is where it gets real difficult to talk about. This is where it gets real difficult to talk about, okay? We don't want to talk about this part right here. And I'm going to share my screen with you one more time. We're not going to look at the video. Can't stop laughing. Poor jogger. Test. Yeah, YouTube is removing my comments. Holy shit, this is hilarious. Hell yes, I hope the door wasn't damaged. Why would anyone want to arrest this fine Harvard graduate? You know, they're saying that in a sarcastic tone of voice with 16 likes. Oh, hell no, hell no, hell no, somebody replied. If we were segregated, this wouldn't happen. So true, yes. We are evil white supremacists, and the coloreds and non-whites should not want to come leech off as such a racist country. Fix your own instead of destroying our own. Maybe in another 1,000 years they can invent the will or written language. America should resegregate. You take my breath away, Pink George Floyd. Don't tread on me, lady who trampled by Trump tards. Looks like a very compliant citizen to me. Not rough enough. Nah, that was just an accident. America is a joke, not the officer. No, he has to deal with these people daily, and that's a curse. What the hell happened? How did America fall this far? Urban culture. God's chosen and their mindless supporters. Good, do it again, another comment says. Crunch. Then there's the capital N. That's what you get for rolling around on the floor. That was a nasty COVID-19 infection. Oh, shit. Can anyone translate section 8? The handcuffed person is a human and equal with the quote air quotes on it. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Door to the dome. Ha ha ha. Oh, sure, I'll help you, all right, Crunch. And somebody says again, this little crack made me laugh my ass off. Man, I honestly don't want to laugh. LMAO, WTF, owned. And the hate speech just goes on and on and on. It goes on and on and on. Now, you guys asked the question last summer, and I want to give you the honest answer. Because one of the things that we don't call out is the hate speech when we see something like this take place. Now, see, what we're going to see in the future is a lot of these cases that are going to be resurfacing for the narratives to be divisive. And it's not these stories that, alone that draws the division. It's the silence when shit like this happens. When nobody comes in the comment section to speak up. Now, best believe, and I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell it to you. You want to know what melanated people saw last summer? When they heard us Trump supporters screaming back the blue? They didn't hear enough people. They didn't hear enough Trump people saying that's wrong. But what they did hear are people like Officer Tatum, Candace Owens, ABL, making statements defending the police officers that were perpetrating these crimes, defending the perpetrators of hate crimes that weren't necessarily cops. And they saw Brandon Tatum wearing his Trump hat. They saw Candace Owens at the White House shaking hands with Donald Trump. And they automatically assumed that all Trump supporters were racist. You got to understand something here, because my mission is to bridge the gap. There's a big gap here. Okay? Trump is a rich white man who dealt with upper society. So when Candace Owens came along as a black woman and bringing him Kanye West, then of course he's all about Candace Owens because, I mean, just like anybody else that has a high ego, they like people that knows about their, that knows about them. They like fans, egotistical people would not exist without a fan club. So Trump actually thought that he was getting black support and that the black support was minimal. Those were the people that poisoned his image on the street because they entertained people who would make remarks like this in chat rooms. And not enough conservative voices was stepping up saying, yo, this is wrong. Shut the hell up. Now, many of people that's been following me since last summer can remember when I told Candace Owens on a broadcast, she never responded to me, but I said it. I said, listen, if you want Trump to win this election and you want the media off of his back, tell Candace Owens, tell Officer Tatum, tell ABL, tell Jesse Lee Peterson to shut the hell up. Shut the hell up. Why? Because they were driving a wedge in race relations. And you got to understand something here. Now, you can feel how you want to feel about the stance that I'm about to make. But if somebody is emotionally charged, you cannot ridicule them to thinking like you do. You got to stop and understand them. You got to show a little bit of compassion. You got to tell them, okay, this is what it was. You can't be sarcastic in your speech when trying to convert them over because they're already charged up. Making videos, defending people like that officer that we just saw in this video will only drive potential people that you can bring to this camp that we need. We need numbers on this side. We're driving them away by our silence. Now, I'm not saying that racism is bad as it was. Not saying that at all. And I'd be a damn fool to tell you that racism don't exist. But the left will have you thinking that everybody with a Trump hat on is waiting behind an oak tree, no matter which way you look, and they got a rope and they're ready to string you up. That's what they will have you thinking. But that's not the case. I used to think that. But what it took for me to come around, it took a good friend of mine named Lynn, who caught me while I was like charged up. I was angry. And Lynn was like, let's talk. Ricky, come here, let's talk. What's your problem? And I'm sitting there just spouting off shit that I saw on the news. The problem is nobody's calling out the hatred that's being said. Now, another thing is people aren't talking about this either. I'm going to show you something else. Because right now the image is back to blue means Donald Trump means racism, right? And that's not the case. But what is the case? Let's talk about that for a minute. Because there are certain things that we saw that, over the summer that, we won't talk, the mainstream media won't talk about, but I was glad I was there to show you this. The next thing I'm about to show you, you're going to be like, what? Yep. Some of y'all people don't realize this part, and this is why I'm glad I was in Washington, D.C. This is going to be an educating moment for a lot of you. The people that were in Washington, D.C. with me last summer or last winter will see something that I was like, damn. Let me go to my history real quick. Because there was a whole lot of shit that we didn't even talk about. Here it is.
They put the fear in honest, hardworking fucking men and women earning a fucking living. And what are you guys doing? Instead of putting them fucking assholes in jail, you're stopping the patriots from controlling the fucking situation. Because they chase you guys in the street. They make a mockery of you guys.
Now for y'all Black Lives Matter supporters,
yeah, you guys, we will crush our
saying that Bullshit only happens to black people. These are white people trying to get past the cops in Washington, D.C.
We should not be facing each other. We need to face the enemy. That's the fucking enemy. And the politicians, the dirty politicians, they're the enemy. These people need to be taken out by force. The politicians are enemies of the state, of our country. They're communists. Trump is the only man cleaning up this shithole. This is ridiculous. The fact I live in America, I want to walk down my street. What? Is there a crime scene over there?
Can y'all see the video now?
Is there a crime scene on that side?
No, we don't know, and they don't have.
I got a question. Okay, stop. I got a question. Is this on camera? I got a question. If I cross this line, do I get arrested?
Can y'all see the video now?
If I cross this line, do I get arrested?
If we walk past you guys, do we get arrested?
You are a public servant. Please answer my question. If I cross
That's
the
a
line, do I
very,
get
very,
arrested?
very real question.
You videotape it, right? All right, we are asking a police officer in America on a public street. There is not a crime behind them, and they're stopping
We don't
us
know if there is
from
already.
walking.
Those people don't
and
have hope like
from walking freely as free people.
You guys don't have to be scared of them.
Hey, soon enough.
You
Jerry.
guys don't have to be
They gotta
scared
pick sides
of
soon
these
enough.
people.
Soon enough, they
We
got big sides,
protect ourselves.
and we're sick and fucking tired of it.
We're protecting these criminals.
They're protecting criminals. Why are we not allowed to walk? We're free people.
So, what you're seeing right now in America. Now, there's something very specific about this video that I want you to understand. The last video that I showed you, not the one of the Patriots trying to get by. We're talking about the guy who got his head slammed in the door. Now, let's talk about him for a second before I talk about this past video. That guy is a duppy, a Johnny Bastard seed, the son of a weed-wearing wicked witch. He's somebody that I would not want to have as a neighbor. At worst, that he'd probably be a family member that I would deny at best. I think my man that was in the back of that police car was a very horrible person. But do you know what else that man is? He's an American citizen. He has the right to be treated properly by the arresting officer and not have his head slammed into a fucking car door. He has the right to due process of law. Bullshit in the comment section is what draws the line of division. Now, they easily make this look like a racially charged incident when we will tell black kids that this could be you. But, I'm just going to, segue from that a little bit. You don't deal with the police unless you're in a situation that, is of a criminal dealing. Now, that's irrelevant. So let's go back to this. This isn't a time to look at this as a racially charged incident, nor plant MAGA patriots as racist people who supports law enforcement in their flaws. You want to know what else is what's going to go down right now? This is a time for us to say, listen, we need to sit down and have this talk, and it should not be about videos of what happens in one race. It should be about videos that happens in one nation, our nation that is now falling apart. This is not a racist thing that's going on, as you see. These were Trump-supporting patriots that were being treated that way by the police department in Washington, D.C. Trump-supporting patriots that had their flags that were like, okay, we're up here in Washington, D.C., we want to protest. They had to come up and protect the citizens that wanted to exercise their First Amendment right. And this is the way they were treated. This is the way they were treated. So, if you people that support Black Lives Matter think that it's only happening to black people, think again. I got video after video of the way that white people were treated that supports Donald Trump by the police department. I can tell you at every rally what happened. Where police officers shut down areas where Trump supporters were supposed to be to protest. Do you think that Trump supporters are actually favored by the police departments now? No. They're damn sure not favored by the media. What do they tell you when they show up to places? They tell you that Trump supporters got violent. This is what they're telling the world. So if they're telling the world this and telling those lies on Trump supporters, which are what y'all would call white people, this isn't a time to start celebrating saying that this is happening to white people now. It's been happening to white people. This is a time for American citizens, no matter what color you are, to sit down and say, look, our system is falling apart all around us and it's time to fix it. These are things that these race grifters with the MAGA hats on won't tell you. Because they get rich off of entertaining people who leave nasty comments in comment sections. My mission isn't to get paid. My mission is to die a man with a clear conscience. That's all I could ask for. There's a lot of people that die wealthy, but they don't have a clear conscience. My mission in life is to die with a clear conscience. We all gonna die. How are you gonna feel? There are people in this world that will leave this world with an unclear conscience, but they got all the money in the world. They got more than their grandkids could spend. But what good does it do? And you want me to tell you the God's honest truth? I think Donald Trump knew this. The man lived the life of a fucking billionaire, jet setter. I mean, can you only imagine a lifestyle of owning your own private 747 jet? Can fly anywhere in the world that you want to go when you want to go. If I was him, I'd be like, be the president of the United States? Fuck you. Let me jump in my jet and do something I want to do. What do you mean? If I run for president, this means I have to work. But this man spent his golden years, spending his golden years in politics, because I believe this is a man who lived his life the way he wanted to, but he wanted the ultimate luxury, to leave this world with a clear conscience. Here's the deal. We can't let them continue to divide us. Now, like I say, a lot of us, we talk about patriotism and we talk about love for our country, but we're not willing to do what it takes. And what I'm about to say is a small thing compared to what we're going to talk about in the trenches. There's a lot of people that says, yeah, man, Candace Owens tells the truth. Put yourself in the shoes of somebody who's emotionally charged, somebody that's been brainwashed. They're good people, but they've been brainwashed. You got to be able to speak for that person. Because the object of the game is to get that person on your side, not to turn them against you. This is why when Officer Tatum did that video about what happened with Ahmaud Arbery, that brought me out of YouTube retirement. It had me that mad. This was a man who was running from people that had guns, and they were like, man, he ran to them. No, they chased him. And now we found out it was a hate crime. And you haven't made a retraction video? Dude. Look at what's going on with the George Floyd case right now. They delayed it. We all could clearly see what happened, or what didn't happen, if you know what I mean. Hint, hint. We know what didn't happen, but you got so many people that are emotionally charged because they thought what they saw was real. By ridiculing them, is not a way to get to them. Only thing that you're going to do is just pour gasoline on that fire. You're going to seem careless about their situation. What you need to do, let them run out of gas. Let them run out of gas. Lisa D says, and Tatum always says, wait for all the facts but to come out, but he didn't he didn't on that. No, he didn't. And he got called out on this bullshit by other black conservatives. Other melanated conservatives called him out on that. And he lost his cool because when they called him out on it, he was on a public platform, and that's another thing. And that's another thing. The face that they show, as you seen in the video I showed yesterday, the face that they show to the melanated community is not the same face they show when they're at Blackset events. They're ugly to other black people. They're ugly to them. Then they come to Blackset events talking about God and Jesus and you know, Trump's good and I'm trying to recruit more black people into... Listen, if you really want to recruit melanated people, do what I do. I work in the community. I talk to these people. I'm there in their face. They see me. The same thing that I tell you here is the same thing I tell you when I'm out there in the community. The same thing that you would hear me say on stage in front of a white audience, I'd say the same motherfucking thing on stage in front of a black audience. And there have been melanated people that watched my broadcast in the early days of this. And they would say, how do I get in touch with you? I really got to talk to you. And then I would sit here. And I'm like, okay. And I give her my email and we would talk. And there was this one lady, I think she was out of Florida, young melanated lady who was like, I want to sit down and talk to you. Okay, let's talk. Let's have a respectful conversation. And we had an open dialogue. And by the time we were finished talking, she was like, I never looked at it the way you say it. I came in your room a couple of times under a couple of different names to piss you off, to troll you. But damn, I understand where you're coming from now. I've never seen it that way. This is how we got to be. Think about it like this. You're a military recruiter, right? You don't go up to the people that you're potentially going to get into the military and start yelling at them and make them do a shit ton of push-ups and, you know, make them exercise and drill them from sun up to sundown. No. You walk up to them and you approach them and let them know, I want you in my military. This is why I want you in my military. You don't just run up to someone and just start screaming vulgarities at them. If they disagree with you, then let them run out of gas. That's what it took to convert me. That's what it took to convert me. I had a friend of mine who let me run out of gas, and she just like, you know, sat there and was taking notes and met me back with common sense and a calm tone. There was a guy when I was in Washington, D.C. I'll never forget. We were down there at Black Lives Matter Plaza. He was on the other side of the barricade. He was rowdy as fuck. And I just walked up to him. Hey, what's your name, man? I had my MAGA hat on and like, what's your name? All right, yeah, I'm Ricky, blah, blah, blah. So why are you out here today? We got to talking. At first, he was not open to talk to me. But then I told him, my problem isn't with you. As a matter of fact, my problem is not with you at all. My problem is with those people right there, and I was pointing at some white liberals. They don't care about you or me. We got to talking. We sat there for like 30 minutes just chit-chatting. We went our separate ways. I said, you stay safe out here tonight, brother. He says, you do the same. But when he left, he had a different thought. Because when he first met me, he was, in his mind, he was like, man, that's that old coon. That old Uncle Tom. That Uncle Ruckus, whatever. But what I did was I lit a fire in him to do his own research. I wasn't there for him. Now, with that being said, we as a nation, we need healing. We got people on our side that's poisonous. They misrepresent the MAGA. Because like I say, MAGA wasn't about Trump. Trump was about MAGA. And they misrepresent the MAGA. They turn MAGA into something racist. They turn MAGA into something that just criticizes black people whenever they get a chance. That's what they turn MAGA into. And then you got people that will say, well, you're just jealous of Candace Owens. No, I'm not jealous of Candace Owens. I'm not jealous of the Officer Tatum. These are people who know how to turn on a fucking webcam and spout their nonsense. Their intellectual dishonesty. These are people that get paid by division. They pepper the truth over a bunch of biases, and they confirm the biases of another group of people. And that's bullshit. I look at Candace, and at first I hated her. I hated her guts. Then I got to thinking, okay, she's trying to run a hustle here. What made me respect her was when she started attacking my man who was dressed up in a skirt. I'm like, okay, she's onto something here. What's up, M. Madam? M. Madam, how you doing? I'm like, she's onto something. So I listened more. But the more I looked at her, watch this. Now, any of you people that know how to read people, I'm going to test something here real quick. Hold on. Hey, when Trump first ran, I thought he was racist. I can't lie because I heard this and the KKK supported him, and someone showed me a small video of him from there. I was all over. Wow. Check this out. You can read somebody by their eyes, right? I want to show you guys something. Let me see here. Now, everybody know how beautiful Candace Owens was when she first started, right? This is her in Washington. Let me see here. Now, Candace is young. I don't know how old she is, but this is young, and this was before she even got pregnant. Now, a lot of people will sit back and say, well, damn, she's beautiful, this, that, and the third. But see, I sold cars. I know as a salesman, I could just tell by looking at people's eyes. I want you to look at her eyes, in the inner folds of her eyes. This is why she was in Congress. That doesn't look like a woman who has peace about her. That looks like somebody who's exhausted. That looks like somebody who's hurt. That looks like somebody who's worried all the time. So let's just say she was put up to, let's say somebody who's put up to this. She looks like somebody who's like, damn, I just want this ride to be over. If I was selling her a car, I know I would be able to sell her. I know that she'd been to every other dealership before she came to mine. I know that she's probably got bad or questionable credit. Somebody done told her some bad news at another dealership. Oh, I know. She'll be my bitch. She'll have my keys in her hands before she leaves. I'll be seeing her in a set of taillights. That looks like somebody who's paid to play devil's advocate. That doesn't look like somebody who's genuine, who enjoys what they do. They might, and now y'all seen her when she first started. Them eyes used to sparkle. Them eyes used to light up. Them eyes used to be like, hey, look at me. Now look at her. That's the look of someone who is targeted for hatred. Nobody wants to be that. Candace is exhausted because she pick up a new role, right? Back in 2016, I wasn't really big on politics, but the George Floyd riots happened. This got me here. Wow. Let's see. Bless her heart, she looks broken. She is broken. It's sad, Lisa. A lot of friends 25 plus over Trump, and lost a lot of friends 25 plus over Trump. Trump's biggest fan. He's grown on me since. She works with PragerU, which is not America First. Oh, boy. Mama, you might want to go ahead and read that article I wrote on this. I can't say it here, but you're going to like what you see there. I promise. Let me tell you guys something. The reason I don't hate Candace Owens anymore and I just call her out for what she is, that's a hurt woman. The melanated community is responsible for her. I'm going to tell you why. People that you see doing that thing that she does, and if you ever noticed at the Blexit events, if you ever been to any of them, or if you even seen some people at the Trump rallies that was just gung-ho Candace Owens, you would see something. These are people who have nothing positive to say about black people. They have nothing positive to say. They're hurt. They were picked on because of the community that they come from don't respect intellectualism. I've been there before. I know. I've been there before. And sometimes, like when I first started high school, I was like, damn, why are these people so fucking mean? But then I had to realize that I was going to a public high school that's not like the class of melanated people that I've been around when I was in private school. This is the thing. So, yeah, I get upset at my people sometimes, or people that look like me, because my people are all colors. My people are red, white, and blue. But I get upset when I look at the melanated community and some of the names that I get called. Sometimes my sarcasm gets ahead of me, like last night. But I don't apologize for what I said. I may apologize in some ways the way I say it. But like what I was saying last night, all these people that come in my chat room, these melanated people that come in my chat room and they want to scream names like Uncle Ruckus, Uncle Tom, blah, blah, blah. My challenge is still the same. Show me your book collection. Show me the book by Harriet Beecher Stowe. Highlight the section for me and show it. Put it against your webcam where Uncle Tom was a bad character. Show me. Show me where he was a traitor to black people. Show me where he sold slaves out. Show me. Show me your book collection. Show me. Don't print up so. Show me show me Dr. Seuss. If I ran the zoo in your house. Show me. Nope. Just like this Confederate flag, some white liberal, to their credit, they read, had to show it to you to get you upset about it. Before then, you were probably reading Dr. Seuss and didn't think nothing of it. It's always a white liberal that's got to be like, well, you know, we care about you. Let's open up your eyes. Know what they're really saying is, let's see what we can make this ignorant fool do today. You know they don't read. Let me go pick up a book and show them something here real quick. Look at this. They're talking about you. Ha ha. They are, aren't they? Let's get them. Our nation needs healing. Our nation needs healing. We can't be sitting here watching these police videos. They're saying, see there, white people are privileged. They don't get treated this way. When if you look at most of the MAGA patriots, how much privilege can you be to be a MAGA patriot? Think about this for a minute. We're talking about a post-epidemic economy. In November, people wasn't working for long periods of time, made their way to Washington, D.C. Tell me if that's not privileged. Tell me if that's not privileged. You want me to tell you what isn't privileged? The way they were treated by the police when they got to Washington, D.C. The way that they were treated by the media for their support for their president. Is that privilege to you? Does that look like privilege? George Soros had to bring all those black folk up there, the ones that were there, or they lived in the area. The white folks, they traveled all up and down the highway after a COVID economy, after being laid off from the blue-collar jobs that they work. Talk to me. This is what, you know, y'all want to scream privilege and white privilege. And you just saw that man who was in front of those cops was not black. Those cops was treating, and you could tell by the way he was dressed and the way his wife were dressed, that they had money. But that still didn't deny the way that those cops treated him. Or, if you see the rest of that video, allow what happened to happen. Tell me, I'm lying. You want to talk about privilege? Look at that video. Do those guys look like they were privileged? The people that were screaming that they're oppressed were the ones that were privileged that weekend. They could go through police barricades without getting their heads cracked open. They could throw fucking Molotov cocktails and blow shit up. But you say that you're systemically oppressed? Get that out of my face. There's only going to be one solution. We all got to sit down at the table and talk. Because we're not getting anywhere like this. And they're going to use that George Floyd trial that we all know is bullshit. Let's call it what it really is. That was bullshit. That George Floyd situation was bullshit. I'm saying it right here, right now. That was scripted. That was staged. Everybody knows it. You'd have to be a damn fool not to see where that was scripted. But what they want to do is prolong this race relation shit. We need to wise up. We need to be the glitch in the matrix. We need to reach out across the lines and we need to grab each other's hands. And you know what we need to do? What we need to do at this moment in time? We need to love one another. Light of the world, shine on me. Love is the answer. Shine on us all, set us free. Love is the answer. That's what we need to do. And you would think it would be a liberal talking like this. Isn't it funny how the roles switched? Isn't it funny how the roles switched? It used to be the liberals talking about love each other. Now it's us patriots. And the liberals are the ones full of hate. We need to get to know each other. Operation Love. The media will never let me show that. You know why? We don't need the media. We're patriots. Our light is going to shine. Our light is going to shine. Now, this is what I want to do before I leave tonight. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for coming out and supporting the channel. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for what you do. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for bringing yourselves here to watch another episode of the Ricky Manor Melanated Rebel News Network. Only thing I ask each and every one of you guys to do now is come by and show some love at the MelanatedRebelNewsNetwork.com. I'm going to be dropping some more articles on there tomorrow. I'm also going to drop a video of what, we were talking about tonight that I can't say on YouTube. I'm going to deal with that in the trenches. The reason I'd rather upload those videos is so I can actually just get my point across. Leave your comments on my blogs or my news post. We got a lot of work to do. We got to restore our nation. Because you know what? Our government is not going to do it for us. It has failed us. We can't fail each other. And with that being said, patriots, where we go one, we go all. United we stand, divided we fall. I'm Ricky Manor of the Melanated Rebel News Network. Signing off. God bless you all. Good night.